Right, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now you might be thinking, what in the world of Matchbox kits have we got going on here? Well, we have a shelf queen. So this has been built ages ago and it's been sitting on the shelf, and I'll explain why in a second. So it's the Gloster Gladiator from Matchbox, but this is a Revell reissue. So Peter, if you're watching, calm down. It's a 1986 Revell reissue, so it's not an original Matchbox minter, but it is a pretty good kit. $1.99 from Marley and Kelly newsagents. If anybody knows where that is, please let me know. Or was. It's probably going to be was in the past tense now. They're all gone on to these little newsagents. Never mind. So this was built. As you can see, we've got some issues to sort out. A couple of seams under the wings there. But the pilot's been built. Canopy's been glued on. It's a little bit dusty, so it wants dusting off. The issue was the transfers that came with the kit, as you can see here, are cracked. So I didn't want to use them. They're well off register. So I bought another set off eBay and they look pretty good. Original Matchbox ones, good register. Don't look like they're cracked. And then I thought, what the hell, I bought some Airfix ones as well, which look quite nice. The red, the blue. Might be an issue there, but I quite like them as well. So I think I'm going to go with them. So it's like a silver, basically an overall silver finish. I was hoping it was going to be like bare metal and silver, then I could have a bit of contrast there, but apparently no, they're just all sort of speed silver or fast silver it was called. So I'm going to try and find some silver paint. Well, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to mask up the canopy, like I did on the couple of other kits I've showed you, but I'll quickly give a brief demonstration again if you haven't seen. So I'll mask the canopy up, we'll give it another go of primer, just to see if we've got any issues. Obviously, we've still got some bare metal parts on there. I need to sort these seams out. And then we'll get some paint on it. Like I said, I'm not quite sure what silver to use. I've got quite a few. So I might have a dig around and see what we can put on, just for a bit of difference, see what I've got. And then we will go with the transfers. I'll try these ones first. If they fall apart, I can always fall back on these ones because I think they're pretty good. But otherwise, that's the state of play for this at the minute. I'm also going to attempt a little bit rigging. I'm not going to go totally mad with it. I'm going to just like suggest a few bits of rigging on the tail plane, across the wing and whatnot. I'm not going to probably rig the whole thing up. I don't know what to use, whether to use, I've got lycra thread or stretch sprue. I quite like the thought of stretch sprue, but getting the consistent thickness is an issue. But for now, let's mask up the canopy. Let's dig out some silvers, get it primed up, and we'll see what it looks like. We'll choose what silver to use first. And there we have the canopy masked up. So I've used thin strips of Tamiya masking tape and just filled the canopy gaps in with mask oil from Humbrol, which, as far as I know, I think it's the best way of doing it. It was a little bit tricky around the front end area because I've always got the upper wing on. I've drilled out the barrels on the cannons just with the end of the knife. I'm going to give it a light coat of this primer. It's already got some primer on, but I want to give it a bit more of that. Again, Amazon, best stuff you can get. If you nip outside and do it, I'll be quick because it's about -5 out there. Right, now as stated, obviously I want to do a silver finish on the Gloster Gladiator. So what I've basically done, this is just basically the grey primer, and I've just given it a couple of coats of gloss varnish. Again, this stuff, you can't go wrong with that. It's from AK Shine Enhancer. Just put it on by brush. It's so easy. Just don't let it pool or gather. So it's got a coat of that on, because what I want to do is put the silver on next. Now, I've been going through what I've got silver-wise, and I've decided to go with the Alclad 2 lacquer, which is airframe aluminium. Now, the reason why I'm going with this, which is not quite silver, but it'll do, it'll be close enough, is because when you're looking at metallic paint, sometimes they're quite gritty or bitty, and you don't get a nice smooth finish. Say for instance, so I've got a Tamiya chrome silver. If you can see, it's quite grainy, and it'll spray and it'll look like that when it's on the model. I don't really want that. I want a nice smooth finish. With the Alclad, you can see that's how smooth that is. Now, you usually spray these over a gloss black coat, which really gives you a nice shine. It really is superb paint, this. But that's why I've just stuck with the grey colour, so it'll not be as overwhelming. So we'll load up the airbrush, we'll get some of that on, we'll see what it looks like, and then I'll seal it in with another coat of gloss varnish, just so I don't scrape this off while I'm handling it. So I'll get some in the airbrush and we'll see what it looks like. So that's the paint straight in the cup. You don't need to thin it, it comes pre-thinned. And let's have a go. So I'll just give it a quick blast on the top of the wing. And it's starting to build up quite nicely. So there we go. So I'll spray the whole model and then we'll see what it looks like, and I'll get a coat of gloss varnish on just to seal it in. But otherwise, that's the sort. Well, it is quite shiny. Very nice paint indeed. Okay, we've had a bit of a disaster. Right, so that's the silver on, the aluminium on. Then I've gone over it with the gloss varnish, which I've just brush painted it on. Now, what I keep forgetting is, because I haven't used this paint for a long time, the alcohol leaves like a dust residue on. So basically you need to, just with a soft brush, brush the residue off before you put a gloss varnish on. I don't know if you can see, so it's like pooled and gone blotchy, so it's obviously picked the dust up when I've brushed it on, and it looks pretty rubbish actually. So we're not going to give up, we're going to try and save it. So I've masked up the canopy again with some Mascol. I'm going to give the model a light dust with this silver from Model Colours. It's just a water-based paint. I'll see what it's like after the light dust. If it's okay, I shall leave it. If I don't like it, I'll go in again with the with this, just to dust it on again, just to try and get rid of all these blotchy ridges. So I'll have a go at that and we'll see what it looks like, but we're not going to give up just yet. Now, as you can see, I've pushed on and done a little bit more. So I did do the airbrush of that Vallejo silver, which sort of brought it back quite nicely. Then I went for the coat of gloss varnish, which went on it. Then I went for the Airfix transfers, which like were just no, not happening. So I've had to go back to the Matchbox ones. They are unfortunately slightly out of register, but they're acceptable. They've gone down quite well over all the panel lines, etc. As you can see, if I can get that focused in, they look quite nice for the age of them anyway. And they've gone down without sort of any sort of silvering, or any discoloration of the carrier film. So then again, I've got another coat of gloss varnish. There's a lot of gloss varnish on this plane. And I wasn't that enamoured with it. I put it aside. It's been sitting for a couple of days, and it was going to go back on the shelf of doom. So I painted the wheels red. Still not particularly over the moon with it. I say, I came back from work the other day and it looked all right. And I thought, well, I'll tell you what, let's push through. Let's get it finished. May as well. Nothing's beyond saving. So I'm going to paint the engine and the exhaust collector and the exhaust, probably the guns, the cannons, the gun troughs as well. And I'm going to go with this, and it's going to be brush painted, so steady hand. I'm going to go with a Citadel colour. This is lead belcher, which is, it gives a really good colour, like almost like a very, very smooth gunmetal. So I'm going to brush paint that on, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to weather it and bring it back. I'll do the tyres as well, and I think this little oil cooler, I think, supposed to be black as well, because I double checked on the Airfix on ScaleMates kit on the Airfix kit on the ScaleMates website, and it's obviously Airfix have re-released this in a 48 scale. Looks like a cracking kit. So it also gives you the diagram for the rigging as well. So I'm using that for all the additional colours. So we'll get some of that on the palette. We'll thin it down with some water, and we'll get a steady hand, and we'll get some paint on it. But otherwise, yeah, we'll push through it. We'll get it finished. Although it's sliding down my list of priorities, but we've gone this far. We might as well see what it looks like when it's done. I just thought I'd show you before I painted how smooth that paint actually is. Look at that, it's really nice. Although it's quite thick, so it just needs thinning down with water, but it gives you a lovely finish. Great paints, these. As you can see, so that's the engine and the exhaust collector all painted with that lovely paint. I've done the guns, the gun troughs. I did the wheels and tyres, but they've gone a bit ropey as well. So this kit's fighting me all the way, so I'll have to come back and do them. But I'll just quickly demonstrate. So this is the Citadel colour Nuln oil. God, I don't know why that's such complicated, funny names. So just get a drop of this, and I'll just give you the idea of how it actually works. So just brush it on there, and you see how it just like falls into the recesses. Again, you don't want to let this paint pool, you know, keep moving it about. but otherwise it gives you a really nice nice depth of shadow. So I'll do that. I'll do the engine, I'll do a bit around the exhausts and the gun troughs again, and we'll see, and then we can do a dry brush to really lift the detail on the engine. Got a bit more work on it, but I think I'm going to draw this one to a close now. Kind of lose my enthusiasm for the model, which is a shame because it's quite nice. I'm not going to do any of the rigging on it, but as you can see, I've done some weathering around the engine, around the fuselage. The propeller blades all been painted, underneath's all done. I've got like I say, it's a lovely aircraft. It's a nice finish. As you can see, I've got a nice finish on the engine cowl, the exhaust ring as well. That was with that lead-based lead belcher from the Games Workshop, and I gave it a slight dry brush of like a bright bronze as well, and I think it's worked out quite well. The wheels, tyres are all done, slightly weathered, a little bit of gloss on there, a little bit of dry brushing, and it's a lovely kit. It really is actually a very nice kit. It's a lovely aircraft. The Gladiator, I think, was the only biplane to have an enclosed cockpit. I may be wrong about that, but if anyone thinks I'm wrong, just put a comment in the mention it in the comments. But otherwise, I think we're going to draw a close there. I'm not going to do the rigging on it. I might go for a 48 scale Gladiator from Airfix and do the rigging on that. I just don't think it's going to benefit much in this scale. But otherwise, there we go. A nice fitting kit from Matchbox of a great subject. And I mean, it's a striking plane. Pre-Second World War into Second World War biplane fighter, which actually did perform service before it was withdrawn. It did actually go on to fly off aircraft carriers as well. And I think Eric Winkle Brown flew this when he was in the Navy at the beginning of the war down the southwest. But a nice plane, nice aircraft, nice silver, nice colours. Well done, Matchbox. Like I say, I'll put a few pictures up at the end, but that's the end of this one, I think, for now. So thanks for watching.